Hey, Silva. Where are my snacks to go with the beer? And the beer isn't cold as well. Didn't I tell you to put the beer I bought yesterday in the fridge as soon as possible?
Oh, hello, Franz. You're already home? Sorry, I was intending on putting the beer in the refrigerator when I got home.
What? What do you mean you're already home? Can't I return to my own home? Isn't it the wife's job to welcome the husband who's tired from a day of work with perfect preparation? I should have everything I want. Where the hell did you get off to anyways?
But you always come home after 5 o'clock, but it's still 4:26 right now. I thought I had an hour left until you got back, which is why I decided to buy some stuff at the supermarket.
What?
I make my schedule for the day assuming that you're going to go home after 5. If you're going to leave the office early, you have to tell me about it. Otherwise, I won't be able to do the preparations in time.
What? Is it still 4:26?
Yeah, it is. Why?
Damn it.
What's the matter?
I went home an hour earlier than I was supposed to. Thought it was already 5 o'clock.
So are you going to go back to the office, or are you going to come home?
I'm going to return to the office.
All right, take care then. Hi, Franz. I'm going to go visit my parents' house tonight.
Huh? Why? Did something happen?
I just got a text saying that my mom sprained her ankle earlier, so I want to check in on her.
What? But isn't your dad with her? And your younger brother who's still in university as well. Can't they take care of her? Why do you have to go when they're already there?
Even if they are family, there are some things that only a fellow woman can help out with, which is why I want to check in on her.
That's impossible.
What?
Silva, you're my wife, you know that? I'm more important than your parents as your husband. The thing you have to prioritize above everything else is me and the things around me.
Yes, but I intend on making dinner and getting the bath ready before I leave, so it shouldn't be a problem for you.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm telling you to stay in the house no matter what.
What? Why? But I just said that I already did all the housework I had to do for the day.
I already told you that's not the problem. As my wife, you have to be there to welcome me home after I come home from work. If you're not there once I get home, I won't forgive you for it, all right?
Sorry, Mom. I think me coming home tonight is going to be impossible. My husband Franz says that I can't leave the house. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm fine. All that happened is that I sprained my ankle, and Dad is going to do the housework for me, so... But still, aren't there some things that only I can help with, and not Dad and Rousseau? I still don't know what's going to be a problem and what's not now that I can't walk properly. It's all right if you don't come tonight. Just come home when I know for sure what I need your help with. All right. Things aren't going well with your husband, Franz, are they? Huh? What makes you think that? I can tell by your tone that you had some sort of fight with him, didn't you? And it's probably not the first time something like this has happened, right? I know it's a bit rude to say such things to someone who's now my child by law, but that person believes that not being able to do any housework is some sort of a sign of masculine superiority, doesn't he? I suppose he's one of those old-fashioned men who believes that the wife should do everything she can to serve her husband. You get that, too? Yes. It's not like I haven't met him before, Sylvia, and I could see it in how he acted since the moment I set eyes on him. I decided to be forgiving and give the two of you my blessing for the marriage, but now I see that might not have been the best decision. It's all right if you could figure something out with him by talking to him, but if he's so stubborn that that still doesn't work, then you'll need to decide what to do about your own future. I guess you're right. I'll try and talk to him, Mother, and if that doesn't work, then... Hello, Mother. Can you talk right now? What is it, Sylvia? I want to talk to you about Franz. He was cheating on me all this time. To think that he was always so proud, telling me how I needed to serve him as a wife. But in reality, he was really just a swine. What? I'm so sorry to hear that, Sylvia. This must be hard for you. To be honest, I was shocked when I heard about it at first, but then I realized that this might actually have been good luck, because divorcing him now will be much easier. You see, one of my friends is Franz's colleague at work, and she told me that he's been making approaches on a young female employee at the office. That asshole Franz. I realize now that he married me just so I could do the housework for him, and that marrying him was a terrible decision. Not just that, but he even calls me a good-for-nothing housewife who can't do anything and is still reliant on her parents. He even says that the food I make tastes bad, the baths I prepare for him are dirty, and that the house is a dumpster because I don't clean it. Apparently he told this female employee about me, and she said to him, "I pity you, Franz. I'm really good at housework, so I would make a great wife." And that's how they started going out, it seems. Wow, I just have no words. I knew he was that kind of husband, but I didn't know that he had absolutely zero respect for you. I'm going to start gathering evidence from now, but I intend on divorcing him as soon as possible. I understand. I think that's the best option as well. I'll tell Dad about your situation, so just tell us if you need any help, all right? Yeah, thanks.
Hey, Silva. Are you seriously not home again? It looks like you haven't been doing the housework recently as well. I had hoped that as my wife you would feel a bit more responsibility, but it can't be helped. I'm going to use my final weapon. I'm going to put the divorce papers on the table. I'll be kind enough to sleep somewhere else tonight, so make sure you use that time to reflect on your mistakes. I'm going to decide whether I'm going to cancel this divorce or not when I get home from work tomorrow and see your attitude towards me. So you better think about what you did wrong, okay? If you don't want to get divorced, then make sure everything's perfect. I don't want there to be a single speck of dust in this house. I want the bath you prepare for me to be crystal clear, and I want you to make those meat and potatoes for me for dinner. Oh, and make sure the beer is cold this time. Silva. Hey, did you prepare my dinner yet? Come home right now and make me dinner. What the fuck? You didn't even do the laundry? I'm not going to have anything to wear to work tomorrow if you don't do the laundry right now, Silva. Answer my texts. Where the hell did you even go off to? Don't tell me that you went against my orders and went to your parents' house, did you? I told you that I wouldn't forgive you if you did, didn't I? Well, it's like you haven't been listening to a word I say these past few days.
Hello, Franz. I'm not going to tell you where I am right now. I noticed that I was getting a ton of notifications. What the hell is this supposed to be?
What do you mean, what is this supposed to be? I thought that you would be a bit more sorry for your own actions yesterday, but this is how you greet me? What the hell are you thinking not being home when I come home from work, Silva? I told you over and over that it's your job as my wife to welcome me home and have everything ready for me after a tiring day of work. I had overtime today, so you should have had plenty of time to prepare your welcome for me when I got home. But you haven't done a thing. What in the world is the meaning of this? Do you want to get divorced with me that badly?
Oh, if it's a divorce you're talking about, I already turned in those divorce papers of yours to the city hall.
What? You turned them in? Wait, that's not what I thought would happen.
Yes, I turned them in. I know it was probably just a coincidence, but you gave me those divorce papers at a really good time. You saved me from doing a lot of work myself. I'll thank you for that at least. Thank you for preparing those divorce papers.
What? What in the world are you talking about? Coincidence? Good timing. It's almost as if you were planning on divorcing me from the start.
Yes, I was, actually. I've been preparing the things I need to get divorced with you for about a month now.
Why?
I mean, the only reason you married me was because you wanted me to do the housework for you. But I turned out to be a terrible maid, right? I'm still relying on my parents and just lay around doing nothing all day.
What? Where did you get that?
The food I make tastes bad, the baths I prepare for you are dirty, and the house is a dumpster because I don't clean it properly.
What? How do you...
I told you already that one of my friends is a colleague of yours at work, right? I heard about everything from her.
Could it be that...
That I also know that you're cheating on me?
So you do know about it then? Shit. I completely forgot that one of your friends was my colleague. Should have been more careful.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about how you messed up or whatever. A lawyer is going to come and see you tomorrow.
A lawyer? You prepared even that? Don't you think that hiring a lawyer is a bit of an over-exaggeration?
By the way, this other woman you were cheating on me with, Martina, was captured by her parents, who came all the way here from the province. They're going to make sure that Martina doesn't try and run away before she pays me an alimony.
Seriously? You're gonna make us pay you for an alimony? What the fuck, Silva? You don't have the right!
Actually, the law says that I do have the right. I think the two of you aren't going to have your contracts renewed at the dispatch company and are going to lose your jobs soon. But I have zero intention of being lenient, so I'm not going to let you two go without paying me first. You can do whatever you want after that, but it won't be my problem anymore.
Wait. Hold on, Silva. I think you should think about this a bit more carefully. If you divorce me, then surely you wouldn't be able to support yourself anymore since you're just a housewife with a part-time job. All you have to do is forget all this ever happened and do what I say, like you always did. Just take care of things around the house, and you won't have to worry about money. Stop with these strange ideas of yours, and let's go back to how things were, shall we?
Whoever gave you that idea? I mean, you only earn 2,000 euros a month in the first place, which is just barely more than the salary I get paid every month working as a part-time worker. Oh, and not only that, but I'm going to become a full-time employee in the near future.
What? But you're just a housewife with no skills to speak of. How in the world were you offered a job as a part-time employee?
Who told you that I don't have any skills to speak of, Franz? That's just what you told yourself to make yourself feel better, isn't it? I told the store owner that I was preparing a divorce, and he told me that I could become a full-time employee if I wanted. He said he wanted to bring me the offer earlier, but he had heard that my husband was the kind of person that would get mad if his wife wasn't home when he was. So he thought that letting me be a part-time worker that has more freedom with shifts than a full-time worker would be more convenient for me. So don't worry about me once we get divorced, because I'm going to be able to support myself just fine.
Oh, is that so?
We got off topic, but yeah, I'm going to divorce you. Just listen to what the lawyer tells you and pay what you have to pay, and we'll be done.
Damn it. Fine. If that's what you want, then let's get divorced. I promise I'm going to find happiness with Martina, who's a lot younger than you in the first place. Not only does she say that she's great at doing housework, but she also earns more than you as a dispatch worker. Meaning that she's better than you in every way possible. Silva, I changed my mind. We're not getting divorced. You see, Martina moved in with me right after you left, but it seems she's terrible at doing housework. She doesn't clean the house, and she doesn't iron the clothes after doing the laundry, so I have to go to work with my clothes full of wrinkles. Even her cooking is worse than yours. Eating it makes me want to vomit. But for some reason, she makes each dish with complete confidence, and if I don't eat everything, she gets furious. She even threw a knife at me once. I can't take this anymore. Not only that, I don't have any more money because I had to pay you that alimony, but for some reason she keeps buying expensive ingredients when she cooks. It's been decided that I'm going to be relocated to customer service from next month, and my salary's going to become smaller. At this rate, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to pay the bills for my credit card next month. But Martina quit her job at the dispatch company and says she's going to be a housewife from now on and refuses to work. Now that I think of it, I now realize that the food you made was delicious. Yup, I definitely want you more than her. Well, that's the situation, so could you please just come back? Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. I want to eat your meat and potatoes when you come back. Just prepare the food, the bath, and the beer for when I get home from work, just like you always used to do. Oh, and it's fine if you kick Martina out. Actually, I'd be thankful if you did. All right, see you tomorrow then. Reply to these texts as soon as you see them, all right? Hey, Silva. Why haven't you come home yet? I told you that I was canceling the divorce, didn't I? Martina is still here as well. I told you to kick her out, didn't I? Jesus, the house smells like burnt food. Damn it. Do I have to eat that dark matter food again?
To be honest, I was confused as to why he thought that I would just come back after I had divorced him. By the way, it seems that Franz and Martina got married the day after me and Franz got divorced. According to my friend, who's also a colleague of Franz's, Martina is a dark-type mentality, unstable berserker. As soon as I heard that she threw a knife at Franz when he refused to eat her food, I realized that this description of hers was incredibly accurate. After Franz sent me those texts, it seems that Martina found out how Franz wanted to get back together with me, and so she started screaming and chasing Franz around with a frying pan. The neighbors called the police on them, but obviously this wasn't enough to scare Martina. Franz, who always talked about how the wife was meant to serve the husband, now spends every day under constant fear as to what his new wife might do to him. Not to mention being made to eat her famous dark matter food. Hey, Carl, are you there? I was just wondering if you and I could talk for a little bit. I don't mind if we're just exchanging text messages, so is now a good time to talk?
Oh, hey Mom. Yeah, I guess that you and I can't talk right now. But I can only text at the moment. Sorry about that. But anyways, I don't have any work tomorrow, so I don't mind if we talk. What is it that you wanted to talk about?
I just wanted to double-check with you that Susan wasn't going to go back to her parents' house to have her baby, right?
I don't think that she was going to do anything like that. But do you mind if I ask what makes you think she was going to?
Well, it's just I'm actually staying at a hotel kind of near where Susan's parents live. I'm here for work, but I've been staying here since yesterday. I'm basically just up the street from their house if I've got the one that I'm thinking of. You said that Susan's family owns a lot of cats, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think just about everyone in town knows their house is the one with all the cats out in front of it. And whenever I've gone to go and visit them, I'm always having to watch my step to make sure that I'm not stepping on any tails or anything at all.
I see. Well, the reason I wanted to know all of this was because I'm quite sure that I saw Susan actually stealing a bit of the cat food for herself.
Right? What do you mean she was stealing the cat food for herself? I'm not sure I understand.
Well, then how do you think I feel? I was so shocked that I could hardly move. I was going to call out to her, but then I thought better of it. But that was the first time that I'd ever seen a person eat cat food so casually. And anyways, that's why I wanted to know if you had any idea what she might have been doing. Did you know that this was something she does?
Mom, this is all a really wild story and all that, but I already told you that Susan hasn't even gone home. For the past 2 weeks, she's been in the hospital, actually.
Wait, you're telling me that Susan is in the hospital? And she's been there for that long? But what happened?
Well, we were going to tell you if things got any worse or serious, but Susan's just been really nervous about any complications when it comes to the baby. And she had been feeling extra queasy and uneasy lately, so she decided to check herself into the hospital.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't think that I knew any of that.
Well, it really is okay since now she's basically feeling better. I think she is probably going to be able to leave any day now. But anyways, the hospital with the maternity ward that Susan wants to give birth at is just a 10-minute drive away from our house. So I don't really think that Susan even has a reason. Why should you go all the way to her parents to have the baby?
I see. Well, then if the person I saw eating cat food wasn't actually Susan, I suppose we can say that that is a good thing. But given what else is going on, I just hope that she feels okay and the pregnancy goes along smoothly.
I think everything should be okay. Actually, it's kind of funny considering that Susan's little sister Kathy is also pregnant.
Wait a second, did I meet Kathy at yours and Susan's wedding? You know, I thought that the two of them looked so similar, I was sure that they must have been twins.
Yeah, they do look quite similar. I imagine that you probably are thinking of the right person that you met on my wedding day.
Yeah, but what about Kathy? Are you saying she's gone back home to have her baby?
Yeah, she has gone back to her parents. Although that actually wasn't the original plan for how she wanted to do this.
Oh, really? And what do you mean by that?
Well, Kathy was going to do what Susan is doing and give birth at a hospital. But then, not that long ago, her husband had to leave on some kind of last-minute business trip or something like that. I guess he was going to go abroad for a long time and they didn't know when he was going to be able to come back. So that's when Kathy asked her parents if she could move back in with them. Kathy and her husband even canceled the lease in their apartment. The thing is, though, that Kathy didn't even realize she was pregnant. She had no idea about that until her husband only had about a week up until he had to leave for his assignment.
Oh, wow, that's so much. The poor thing, and finding out that his wife was pregnant so close to his trip still wasn't enough to get her husband out of having to do it? But to go and do something like cancel your own lease, that basically leaves you with no other place to live at all.
I know. But apparently both of her husband's parents have passed away. So really, she only had one place that she could go to live. Of course, Susan did think about reaching out to Kathy and asking if she wanted to come and stay with us for a while. But then all the things with Susan's pregnancy started acting up, and so we agreed to scrap that plan.
And so that's why Kathy ended up having to go all the way back to her parents to have her baby then?
Yeah, pretty much. I know it's a long story, but that's basically what happened. Yeah.
But then, I still feel like I'm not getting the whole picture. Is there something wrong with having to go back to your parents' place to give birth?
Well, the thing is that Susan and Kathy's dad is still around. But their mom isn't. Not only that, but their dad actually ended up marrying a woman in her mid-30s.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of something like that when it came to their family. I must have completely forgotten about it until now, though.
Right, well, as I'm sure you might be able to imagine, Kathy and Susan do not get along great with their stepmother. Apparently they tried to meet her a couple of times, and even all lived together before we were married, but it just wasn't working out. Anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if what you say with the cat food might have had something to do with that.
You really think so? Wow, I had no idea that all of this was going on.
Well, if you want, I guess I can try talking to Susan and see if she can't get a hold of Kathy to make sure that everything's okay.
Oh, no, you don't have to go and do something like that for me.
Are you sure? Because it really wouldn't be a big deal at all.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's not what I meant. I just meant that I actually have Kathy's number is all.
Oh, really? You do? I didn't know that you and Kathy had exchanged phone numbers.
I think we must have exchanged our numbers at your wedding, but I don't think we've sent a single message to each other or anything like that.
Great, well, yeah, then I guess if you're worried about Kathy, it might be better for you to reach out to her given that you're both so physically close. But please, let me know if you find anything out. I want to make sure that everything is going okay over there.
Yes, of course. That won't be a problem.
Actually, maybe I'll distract Hillary, their stepmom, so that Kathy doesn't get into any more trouble if something else is going on. Hey there, Hillary. Are you there? This is Susan's husband, Carl. How have you been?
Oh, Carl! It's been ages since I last talked to you. How are you? I have to say, it's quite odd getting a message from you like this.
I know, I'm sorry to be messaging you out of the blue like this, but I just wanted to ask you something. I heard that Susan's sister Kathy ended up going back to your house to give birth. Is that true? The only reason I'm asking is that, well, as Susan's husband, I just think I should be checking on people more from time to time, you know?
Oh, well, aren't you just such a sweet man? I guess that you must be the person who Kathy's texting right now, too, then.
Well, it's just that Susan really isn't feeling well at all, and she asked me to check on you both.
Oh, did she know? Well, isn't that just so thoughtful of her?
Yeah, I thought so. Anyways, how's Kathy doing? Of course, I'm also texting her right now anyways, but I just wanted to know how you think she's doing.
Well, she seems to be always complaining about feeling queasy and stuff like that. I tell her that she needs to be trying to move her body more. I'll give her little errands to do so that she is getting up and moving a bit more throughout the day, but I really don't think that she's doing all that bad.
Oh, I see. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you think Kathy is basically doing fine then.
Carl, are you there? It was much worse than I thought. Kathy is in some serious trouble. We have to get her out of that house and into a hospital right away. Apparently Hillary is still in her room right now, so I need you to help stall just a little longer.
Got it. Hey, Hillary, I actually kind of wanted to ask you about something else, if that's okay.
Oh, did you know? Well, what's on your mind? You can ask me whatever you want, you know.
I actually just wanted to let you know that Susan wasn't feeling great with a bunch of pregnancy stuff going on either. She ended up checking herself into a hospital.
Oh, really? Things were that bad? Just what was it that made her want to go and do something like that?
I guess that the pregnancy symptoms were getting to be a bit much for her. She was dizzy and queasy and could barely function. I was actually surprised that things had gotten as bad as they did for her.
I see. And just what did you do to manage that, huh?
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean. I didn't do anything but take her to the hospital, you know.
That isn't what I'm talking about. Right now, you were trying to tell me that you made your wife's symptoms so bad that she had to go into the hospital, right?
What? No! Of course not. I would never try and do something like that on purpose. She just started feeling ill and it got worse, and so she went to the hospital.
Oh, is that it? Are you sure? Well, okay then.
Yeah, although I'm wondering, in light of all that, if this makes you change your mind on Kathy at all.
Change my mind about what? What could you possibly be referring to?
Well, okay. The truth is that I've heard from a good source that Kathy might not actually be really happy having to be there at home with you.
And just what is that supposed to mean, huh? What are you getting at, Carl?
I just mean that if Kathy is complaining a lot about what she is feeling right now, then maybe you should try listening to her, right? Don't you think it might be good for you to take her to a hospital too?
Oh, please, don't be so overdramatic. I know that Kathy doesn't want or need that, but you can just reach out and ask her yourself if you don't believe me.
I see. Well, if that's the way that you're going to be about this, then I guess you leave us with no choice. We're going to be taking care of Kathy from now on.
What is that supposed to mean? Carl, what is going on here, huh? Where is Kathy? Why isn't she at home? I know that she can't have gotten very far by herself in her state, so I want to know what kind of trick you're trying to pull.
I'm afraid that's a secret. I can't tell you anything.
Excuse me? Do you think this is some kind of game or something like that?
Actually, let me ask you something. Your husband left for a business trip himself about 2 months ago, isn't that right? And while he was gone, that's when you turned against Kathy. You withheld food from her, verbally abused her, and made her do all kinds of chores for you. You were basically making her your servant while she was pregnant.
Will, I really don't have any idea at all what you're talking about, and I don't think that you do either.
Oh, really? Because I have proof of everything that I'm saying.
Hold on a second, you have proof? Just what do you mean by that?
I take it that you didn't know this since they were installed before you married Susan's father. But he had cameras installed to keep an eye on his cats, and we can see exactly the kind of things you were forcing Kathy to do on them.
What do you mean by that? This has got to be some kind of mistake.
It's not a mistake at all, and since we have this proof, you can bet that we're going to be sending it to your husband as well.
Wait, no, hold on. You can't do that. I mean, don't you know what's going to happen to me if you do?
That is entirely up to your husband, but I'm sure he'll think of something good for you.
Carl, are you there? You better pick up the phone right now. Did you really go and tell my husband about what you told me about? Because he told me he's already calling a lawyer to divorce me right now.
Oh, so I take it by that he's already back home then?
What do you mean about that, huh?
You mean you didn't hear? He ended his business trip early just to come and deal with all that has been going on in his absence. He even stopped by the hospital to see Kathy and make sure that she was doing okay. Last thing he said before leaving that he was going back home, though.
But then, that means he'd be coming home to divorce me, but I don't even have a job. He can't do this to me.
Actually, that reminds me. There is one more thing I want to ask you about.
What is it this time?
Well, it's just about Kathy. You see, she tells us that her husband left you a substantial amount of money that was meant to be spent on Kathy while she was there. It was to pay for things like food, utilities, even some hospital fees. But he gave that money directly to you, didn't he?
What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, please. Kathy already told us about how you went on a huge shopping spree for yourself as soon as your husband was gone.
But, I mean, it was just a few things that I bought.
So then you admit that you used the money on yourself.
I mean, I don't want to answer any more of your questions.
It's fine. I'll tell your husband all about this as well, and he can deal with it.
No, please, you can't do this to me. I mean, please. Don't you think we have so much more to gain by working together rather than in opposition?
And just what do you mean by that?
I mean that if you help me out here, I can help you out in whatever way you need me to.
Yeah, that's gonna be a huge pass from me.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means I literally almost lost my lunch just reading that message. But I'll be sure to tell your husband all about what you just said to me as well. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go and throw up. You know, in all the time that Susan and I have together, I still have never ever understood what it is that her dad saw in Hillary. It isn't like he's a cruel or stupid man or anything like that. In fact, when he got back from his business trip, he came to apologize to my mom and I for all the trouble Hillary had caused us. We told her that we were just happy to be able to be there for Kathy. It did take long after that for Hillary and him to officially get divorced. Of course, things didn't end for Hillary there. She was also made to pay a huge alimony settlement. But Hillary had barely worked a day in her life, and when she was divorced, she barely had a penny to her name. In order to keep up with her expenses, she had to take out huge loans and fell into debt. Now, she lives in a tiny apartment working multiple jobs to try and fix her finances. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.